Hello dear students, I am Dr. Shikha Pandey, Associate Professor from Institute of Aeronautical Engineering. So today I am going to discuss about the topic that is environmental pollution, pollution control technologies and global environmental problem. So definition and terminology related with this module number 4. So first of all, we are going to discuss about the term that is solid waste. So define the term the solid waste. So we can define solid waste as it is any form of garbage or refuse material or sludge from a wastewater treatment plant or any discarded material is called as waste. Means a garbage or any trash or any refuse material that cannot be useful, and a sludge that is that will be discarded from the wastewater plant or any other discarded material is called as solid waste. So solid waste is can define it as like a waste that is not much useful, that waste that is not much useful that should be discarded, waste that is not much useful, or that will be discarded is called as solid waste. Next is like a municipal solid waste. Define the term municipal solid waste. Means solid waste that are arising from any residential activities, residential quarters, commercial activity, any institution or public place on any open area or street or park or playground is called a municipal solid waste. Means those waste that is originating from the residential activity, commercial markets, hotels, garages, restaurants, some institution or public places, open area, street, park or any playground is called as municipal solid waste. Means those waste that is originating mainly due to the residential activity or due only from any residential activity or any commercial activity is called as municipal solid waste. Next is the hazardous solid waste. What is hazardous waste? Hazardous waste is a very dangerous waste. So it can be defined as those waste that are containing some characteristics either toxic, reactive, ignitable, corrosive, infectious or radioactive is called as hazardous waste. Means those waste that are having the property of very toxic in nature, or that is very highly reactive, that can be reactive at an inner temperature also, and that is will be ignitable, that is ignitable means catching fire very easily, or corrosive in nature like very concentrated, very highly acidic or highly basic, man that can be corrode any surface, that can be corrode any hard steel also. Infectious in nature or some radioactive substances is there, means those substances that is radioactive or that will be causing mutation to the human genetic level is called as hazardous waste. So this is the definition of hazardous waste. Means those waste that is having the characteristics of either very toxic, ignitability, corrosivity, infectious or reactive or radioactive in nature or is called as hazardous waste. Municipal waste is a general waste that is arising from any household activity, any residential activity, and hazardous waste are those waste that will be generated from any industry, chemical plant or thermal power plant or sometimes nuclear power plants also. Means those waste that are very toxic in nature, that is sometimes those waste that is hospital waste is also coming under the category of hazardous waste, but due to their treatment and all purposes that will be present, that will be categorized in different way, that is biomedical waste management and handling, but it will be coming under the category of hazardous waste. So those waste that is toxic in nature, reactive, ignitability, infectious, corrosivity and or reactive is called as hazardous waste. Next is the term that is biomedical waste. So biomedical waste is also a hazardous waste because this is a very infectious in nature. Infectious waste. Biomedical waste is those type of waste that contains some human anatomical waste, animal waste which is generated during diagnosis, treatment, immunization, research on animal model or drug testing is called as biomedical waste. Means those waste that is generating from a hospital, nursing home, and it will be happen due to some what does it consist? It consists of human tissues, human anatomical waste, used cottons, syringe, discarded medicine, all are coming under biomedical waste. And this biomedical waste is a very dangerous waste and it is very infectious waste also. Means those person that are handling this biomedical waste should be very much careful about its infectious in nature, and that will be causing harm to anybody. So that on all waste that is generated from hospital or any nursing home is coming under the category of biomedical waste. Means waste generated due to the biomedical activity, or waste is also that is from research on animal model or drug testing agency. Next is the e-waste. What is e-waste? Means e-waste means electronic waste. Electronic waste means waste that are produced by some discarded electronic devices like mobile phone, computer, radios, TV, etc. is called as e-waste. E-waste is a waste that is produced from the discarded electronic device like mobile phone, computers, radios, TV, etc. is called as e-waste. And next is what is industrial waste. Waste from the industrial activities such as chemical industry, metal and mining processing industries, radioactive waste are generated by nuclear power plants. Means industrial waste are those waste that is generated due to the industrial activity, and that is called as chemical industries, metal or and mineral processing industries. And its example is the radioactive waste are generated by the nuclear power plants. So this is about the industrial waste. There are many type of waste: hazardous waste, biomedical waste, e-waste, and industrial waste. E-waste is nothing but the electronic waste. Biomedical waste is the waste that is generated from hospitals or nursing home due to the human activity. Human and anatomical waste is there, and immunization waste is there, animal waste is there, or some research laboratory. Next is the industrial waste. Waste that is generated by the industrial activities is called as industrial waste. Next is the what is greenhouse gases. Means greenhouse gases. What gases we can call them as a greenhouse gases? So greenhouse gases are the CO2, carbon dioxide, CFC, chlorofluorocarbon, methane, CH4, N2O, nitrous oxide, perfluorocarbon, and sulfur hexafluoride. So those gases that are that is causing heating of the atmosphere is called as greenhouse gases. That is increasing the inside temperature of the earth is called as greenhouse effect, and this effect is all due to the responsible for this greenhouse effect is the greenhouse gases. And the example for this greenhouse gases is the carbon dioxide, carbon fluorocarbon, methane, nitrous oxide, perfluorocarbon, and sulfur hexafluoride. Next is what is global warming. Global warming is unusual or rapid increase in the Earth's average surface temperature over the past century is due to the greenhouse gases is called as global warming. Means heating of the Earth's surface. Heating of Earth's surface is all due to this global warming. It is an unusual rapid increase in the Earth's average surface temperature over the past century that will be primarily due to greenhouse gases is called as global warming. Means the heating of the Earth's surface, primarily rapid increase in the Earth's average surface temperature over the past many years that will be due to this greenhouse gases is called as global warming. Greenhouse effect, this and the for global warming is responsible is all due to this greenhouse effect. Means the heating or the increase in temperature inside the Earth atmosphere is called as global warming, and this global warming is causing melting of North Pole and South Pole, melting of glaciers, and in this way the amount of water, because glacier melting will increases the sea levels also, so that will be causing increase in the sea level rise due to melting of glaciers. Next term is define the term climate change. Climate change is a long-term change in the average weather pattern that have come to define Earth's local, regional, and global climate. Climate change is the long-term change in the average global weather pattern. It is due to the Earth's local or regional and global climates. Means the change, the long-term temperature variation in the average weather pattern that will be due to some Earth's local, regional, or global climate is called as climate change. Change in climate from past to present, and some changes is there. That means the pattern, wind pattern, the monsoon pattern, sometimes the summer pattern is all changing due to this human activity, due to this global warming, due to this ozone depletion, due to this greenhouse effect. Means all together these are the global environmental problem. We'll consider all together these problems. They have all things are responsible for this climate change. It is a long-term change in the average weather pattern that has come to define Earth's local, regional, and global climate. Next is, what is deforestation? Deforestation means the decrease in forest areas across the world that is lost for other uses such as agriculture, cropland, urbanization, or mining activity. Means deforestation is cutting off tree. Cutting off tree is called as deforestation. It means the decrease in forest areas across the world that is lost for other uses like agriculture, cropland, urbanization, or sometimes mining activities is called as deforestation. Clearing of forest for non-forest purpose is called as deforestation. Cutting of trees for non-forest purpose, like cutting of tree for urbanization activity, for some mining activities, is called as deforestation. And this deforestation is also responsible for climate change. Climate change, sometimes species is extinction also, because due to deforestation the habitat of any organism is reduced, and that will be destructed, and due to this habitat destruction animals will enter into the human territory sometimes, and that will be causes for the extinction of species also. Next is the desertification. Desertification, conversion of any land into a desert. Conversion of land into a desert is called as desertification. Conversion of land into desert is called as desertification. Means it will refers to the persistent degradation of dry land and ecosystem by some climatic variation and human activity. Desertification refers to the persistent degradation of dry lands and ecosystem by climatic variation and human activities is called as desertification. Conversion of any fertile land into a degradation, or dry land into a desert kind of land due to the human activity, due to this deforestation activity, due to cutting of tree is called as deforestation. And degradation of dry land and ecosystem by some climatic variation and human activities, this is called as desertification. Next is, what is Earth Summit? Next term related with this is the Earth Summit. Earth Summit is a summit that will happen in the UNCED, and this UNCED, United Nations Conference on Environment and Development, UNCED, is known by the term Earth Summit, and this will happen in the year 1992. So this, in the year 1992, in the month of June, in Rio de Janeiro in Brazil, one convention is there, one conference is there. In this conference is named as Earth Summit, because only in this conference they are started talking about environment, and to reconcile worldwide economic development with protection of environment is very much important. So what will happen in this UNCED, like the economic development, to reconcile with the worldwide economic development with the protection of environment is very much important. In the Earth Summit in 1992 is happened, UNCED. So what will happen is there in the Earth Summit in the Brazil, in Rio de Janeiro, the worldwide economic development with protection of environment. They started talking about the economic development in connection with the environment, because there should be some connection with environment with the economic development. Then only you can achieve development in sustainability. If you will not consider your environment for the economic development, you are making industries, you are cutting trees for the industrialization purpose, you are emitting more and more amount of greenhouse gases, then this kind of development will not leads you towards the sustainable development. Means, and all nations agreed on the point that sustainability is more important, like degradation of natural resources or exploitation of natural resources in terms of development, economic development is not the good term, is not accepted now. You have to think the development on the basis of environment also. So this kind of awareness will come from this UNCED conference in the Brazil. That's why this conference is named as the Earth Summit. Means they started talking about this earth also. They connected in economic development with the environment. That's why this Earth Summit is very important, and it was held in the Rio de Janeiro, Brazil in the year 1992. Next is the Agenda 21. What is Agenda 21? Agenda 21 is also originated from the 1992 Earth Summit. UNCED conference. UNCED conference. It is a non-binding action plan of United Nations with regards to sustainable development. It is a product of Earth Summit held in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil in 1992. Agenda 21 is a document on non-binding action plan that has been made for the sustainability of the environment, and that is also originated from the UNCED conference on Earth Summit. And from Earth Summit, it is the product of Earth Summit that is held in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil in the year 1992. Next is, what is Kyoto Protocol? The Kyoto Protocol is an international agreement which extend in the year 1992 in UNFCCC. Again in 1992, United Nations Convention on Climate Change was held that commit state parties to reduce their greenhouse gases emission. This is about Kyoto Protocol. Is an international agreement that extends in the 1992 in UNFCCC, United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. Kyoto Protocol is an international agreement which extend in 1992 United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, UNFCCC, that commits states parties to reduce greenhouse gases emission. That will be make commitment of state bodies to reduce their greenhouse gas emission. Next is the Montreal Protocol. Montreal Protocol is an international environment agreement that is designed to restriction the production and consumption of ozone depletion substance to protect the stratospheric ozone layer. Montreal Protocol is an international agreement that is designed to restriction and production and consumption of ozone depleting substances. Montreal Protocol is due only for the ozone layer depletion, and this Kyoto Protocol is for the greenhouse gas emission like climate change. So this Montreal Protocol is all due to the ozone layer, for the protection of ozone layer. Is an international treaty that has been made, an agreement designed to restrict the production and consumption of ozone depleting substances to protect the stratospheric ozone layer. This agreement has been made for the restriction and production and consumption of ozone depleting substances to protect the stratospheric ozone layer. Montreal Protocol is an international environment agreement. It is designed for the restriction of the production and consumption of ozone depleting substances to protect the stratospheric ozone layer. Now, what is IPCC? Next definition is about the IPCC. IPCC is an international governmental panel on climate change. Is an intergovernmental body of the United Nations that is responsible for advancing knowledge on human-induced climate change. Means IPCC, you can say that IPCC, Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change. Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change. It is a panel that will be made by the United Nations and that is responsible for the advancement of knowledge on human-induced climate change. Means this IPCC will give reports every year that how this human activity, how this pollution level, increasing pollution level is causing the climate change. And every year this IPCC is giving their report on the change in the climate due to the human-induced activity, human behavior, human-induced activity, not natural causing of pollution, climate change. Because climate change, sometimes climate change is also a natural cause also, but this IPCC is all due to the human-induced climate change. It means human activity, all those anthropogenic activities will causing change in the climate is called as This IPCC has been formed as an intergovernmental panel by the United Nations. So they will monitor, or they will give a report every year on the human induced activity, climate change, all due to human induced activities. Means climate change, that will be anthropogenic, means that is caused by human activities only. So this will give a report every year, and you can see their report every year on the internet, that like every year they are giving some report, what does this climate is changed due to the human pollution, human activities. Next term is the what is UNFCCC, the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. CC is climate change. So United Nations has made a framework, a convention on climate change that established the International Environmental Treaty to combat the climate change. That will be an international treaty to stop the climate change and some dangerous human interference with the climate system. Because what will happen, some human interference is there with the climate change in part of stabilizing greenhouse gas concentration in the atmosphere, because we know that climate change is due to the global warming. Some relationship is there in all this environmental problem. Climate change is due to global warming, and this global warming is caused by greenhouse gases. That's why this UNFCCC is there. UNFCCC Convention on Climate Change. This UNFCCC has made rules and regulation for the emission of greenhouse gases concentration in the atmosphere. That's why this UNFCCC is there. They have made an concentration, greenhouse gases concentration, in part of stabilizing greenhouse gas concentration in the atmosphere. That's why this UNFCCC is there. This UNFCCC is stopping the climate change, and it is a national framework has been made to combat or to stop climate change or to monitor climate change due to this greenhouse gas emission or due to this human induced activity. That's why this UNFCCC is there. And all this is a result of UNCED conference in 1992 Earth Summit. All these environment convention was there are the results of this UNCED. And next is the term define the ozone layer. Ozone layer. What is ozone layer? As we have already discussed that the ozone is the layer or is a shield that is present on the Earth's stratosphere that absorb most of the sun ultraviolet radiation. On the Earth, stratosphere is there. At the stratosphere, ozone layer is there. So what this ozone layer is doing, they are protecting us with the harmful UV radiation. Harmful UV radiation is there that is coming to the stratosphere, that will be not able to enter due to this ozone layer into the Earth atmosphere. That's why this ozone layer is very much important. It is a shield, or it is a layer in the Earth's region of that stratosphere that will be going to absorb most of the sun UV radiation. Next is the term what is bioremediation. Bioremediation is the remediation of pollution remediation by some biological agency, by some biological means, is as the name's meaning that remediation of pollution by some biological activity, of pollution by biological activity. And what does this biological activity? It is a use of any biological agents that will do some process for the degradation of the pollutant or for the removal of pollutant from the water, air or soil. So let's come to the definition of this bioremediation. Bioremediation is a process that employ the use of living organisms like microbes and bacteria in the removal of contaminants, pollutants and toxins from the soil, water and other environment. Bioremediation is the process of removal of pollutant from the soil, water or air or soil or water by the use of some living organism like some microbes, bacteria. What they will do, they will uptake the pollutant from the air or water into their body, and that will be removal of pollutants from the soil, water and other environment by the use of some biological living agent is called as bioremediation. Next is the define the term landfill. Landfill can be defined as the low area of land that is built up from deposit of soil refuse in layer covered by soil. Landfill is a very general term that very easily dumping of waste is there, and it is a low air of lands, low area of land. It is built by the deposit of soil refuses, means it is built by the layer by layer soil deposit is there, and it is all due to covered by the some soil. It's called as landfill, and it can be defined as the low area of land that is built up from deposits of solid and refuses in layers covered by soil is called as landfill. Next term is the what is incineration. Incineration means the burning of anything at a very high temperature is called as incineration. So it can be defined it as like a incineration is a high temperature burning of waste. It is used as controlled flame combustion or calcination, and it's a technology that destroy the organic constituents in the waste material. Means incineration means the burning of any waste at a very high temperature, and due to this some rapid oxidation will take place, and that will be also known as a controlled flame combustion or calcination, and it is a this technology will destroy the organic constituents even in the waste material. Sometimes what will happen, some organic constituents in their waste in the waste, but that will be not degraded properly, that will be persistent for a very long time. So in this way that waste can be go for the incinerator. Incinerator is the high temperature burning of any waste, means burning of any waste at a very high temperature, and it is also known as controlled flame combustion or calcination, and it is a technology that is going to destroy organic constituents in the waste material. Next is the term define the term composting. Composting is a mixture of ingredients used to fertilizer and improve the soil activities. It is commonly prepared by decomposing plants and food waste and recycling organic materials. Composting is a mixture of ingredients that can be used to fertilize and improve the soil, and it is commonly prepared by decomposing plants and food waste and recycling organic materials. Is called as composting. Next good definition is the term define the term biological magnification. Biomagnification is the increasing buildup of toxic substances with organism that will going to increase at each stage of a food chain. This is called as biomagnification. Biomagnification is the buildup of any toxic substance like methyl mercury is there. Methyl mercury is in the fish body is there. It is present in the fish body, but if this fish is consumed by human being, automatically this methyl mercury is going to be increased, means that will be biomagnified, that will be increases up to 10 times in the higher tropic level. So this is the accumulation of toxic substance into a human body, and its transfer from one tropic level to another tropic level, and that transfer will be going to be in higher amount is called as biological magnification, and this will be a very much toxic for the some DDT is there in a very less amount. It is eaten by some phytotrop or some zooplankton and phytoplankton. And when this zooplankton and phytoplankton is eaten by the fish, that amount of DDT will be increased in the fish body. And if that fish is going to be eaten by a human being, that amount of DDT is going to be 10 times higher than the fish body. In this way, that magnification is there inside a biological body. This is called as biological magnification. And this biological magnification is very much dangerous for human beings. Those who are eating seafoods or fish that is present, aquatic fish is there. Now comes to the next definition. This is about what is sea level rise. So global mean sea level has risen about 8 to 9 inch, that is 21 to 24 centimeter from the 1880, with about a third of that what is coming in just the last 2.5 decades. The rising water level is mostly due to combination of melt water from glaciers and ice sheet and thermal expansion of seawater as it will be becoming warm. So what will happen due to greenhouse effect? Due to this greenhouse effect, earth temperature is increasing. Earth temperature is increasing. This is called as global warming. Due to this global warming, the glacier and ice sheet is going to be melt. Glaciers and ice sheet melting is there, ice sheet melting is there, and due to this melting of glaciers and ice sheet, that is going to combine with the water, and all it is with the sea water, and it will become warmer, and in this way sea level is going to be risen, and it is a very proved, it is the very evidence of the climate change. We can say that this sea level rise is the greatest evidence for the climate change, because due to this increasing temperature in the inside the earth atmosphere, global warming is there, and this global warming is causing the rise is causing the melting of glaciers and ice sheet and thermal expansion of sea water, and it will become warmer. Due to the warmer, this expansion is there in the sea water, and all water is going to mix with the sea water, and in this way the sea level is going to rise, and this is a very important evidence of climate change. This sea level rise is the evidence for climate change. This is the reason for climate change, and this global mean sea level is going to be risen up to 21 to 24 centimeters since 1818, and about a third of what coming in just the last 2.5 decade, in just 2.5 decade. And this rising water is mostly due to the combination of melt water from glaciers and ice sheets and thermal expansion of seawater when it will become warm. So this is about the sea level rise, and it will be coming in this all due to this human activity, all due to this global environmental problem like climate change, and this greenhouse gas effects, and this ozone layer depletion, and this global warming. Thank you for today's lecture.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.